good to you, and I welcome you all to the sample paper 2 of CLAT 2023 analysis. Now, I'm sure you've gone through the CLAT 22 paper and as well as sample paper 1. Now, if I look at this particular one, I would put this particular English section on the easy side. There were no surprises as such. Most of the questions were direct and there were definitely vocabulary, and it seems in this particular sample paper, grammar has made a comeback. So there were specific detailed questions and they were all in general very easy to solve. Oh my dear bachas, a very logical noon everyone. Logical noon to you. And tell me one thing, did you find this paper easy? And I'm sure you have had a ball solving this. Maza aaya hoga solve karke. Namaste everyone. Logical noon everyone. Chalo, let's start the analysis part. So tell me, did you enjoy solving this particular sheet? Yes, it was very easy. Do you know why it was very easy? Because you are very good at solving even difficult papers. The mocks that we had been having were on the more difficult side, and you were doing very well there as well. And if you can do that, this is like a piece of cake for you. Chalo, let's start off. I'm starting off. Let's go ahead. So the passage number 1, it is on the history of the world. It has been the authors and all, and it was from the 6th edition. Now this is under the category of history, and obviously history of the world, history hi rahega. And this one was pretty easy to read as well. It was India and how Alexander, or what Alexander thought, and once Alexander came back, what all were the information about India that were present throughout. Let's look at the question. So I have the first one. Based on the information in the passage above, which among the following best describe what the Greeks knew about India before Alexander? And the answer was pretty obvious because it was directly stated there in the first passage, the last line. And beyond that, all was darkness. When we talk about darkness, it doesn't literally mean andhera tha, but darkness means not much was known. Beyond what? Gandhar, right? So they had some knowledge of the area around Gandhar, but nothing else. Hence, answer is going to be C. कहाँ से मिला ये रहा आपका. We are talking about a fair amount had long been known by the Greeks about the Indian northwest, the seat of the Persian satrapy of Gandhar, but beyond that, all was darkness. And everybody has got it correct. Excellent. Let's go to the next question now. Why, according to the author, was Megasthenes able to meet and interrogate many Indians? Now, अगर हम प्रोसेस ऑफ एलिमिनेशन के थ्रू जाते हैं तो कहीं भी ये टॉर्चर वाला एलिमेंट आया नहीं है, राइट? Just because he had been sent to India by the Seleucid king भी इसका रीजन नहीं है. So what is left is B and C. Now, if I go to the passage, it's quite clear that he was respected as a diplomat and scholar, and hence he was able to meet and interrogate people. Now, we do not know whether he was able to put people at ease or not. Hence, answer is going to be B. Now, I'll take you to the part from where you can get this particular answer. It is from here. As he traveled as far as Bengal and Orissa and was respected both as diplomat and a scholar, he met and interrogated many people. So, there's your answer. And again, everybody has got it correct. Very good. Okay, why did some later writers think Megasthenes was credulous and unreliable. Now यहाँ पे credible नहीं है, credulous word है, and unreliable. And another thing is obviously and आया है और एक negative connotation आया unreliable, मतलब this is not going to be positive either. So let's look at it. Because he told many tales that seemed unbelievable and fantastical. Yes, seems so. Because they were jealous of him. ये कहीं भी mention नहीं आया है. I can eliminate. See, he says because they were unable to visit India themselves. Again, we do not know that from the passage. Because he did not keep written records. Fragments of his accounts. कहीं तो है उसका. Hence, answer is going to be A. From where I can infer this? ये रहा. Some later writers found him a credulous and unreliable reporter. They dwelt upon his tales of men who subsisted on odors instead of food and drink, of others who were cyclopean or whose feet were so large that they used them to shelter from the sun, of pygmies and men without mouths. Basically, ये सारा का सारा है ना एक फेरी टेल या स्टोरी लग रही है, एक फैंटेसी लग रही है. That is the reason that some of the later on found him to be too credulous and unreliable. And yes, everybody has got it. Very good. Let's look at the next one. Which of the following best describes what a credulous person would be like? अगर unreliable है और यहाँ पे यूज किया है fantasy and so on and so forth, and he is talking about Megasthenes talked about men who जो सुगंध पर जिंदा रहते थे, खाते पीते नहीं थे, या जिनको सिर्फ एक आंख थी, या कुछ लोगों के पैर इतने बड़े रहते थे कि वो सनशेड का काम करते थे, अम्ब्रेला का काम करते थे, पिग्मीज थे, और फिर बहुत सारे लोग थे जिनका मुंह ही नहीं था. Now, if we look at that particular connotation, what does it mean? So, having great intellect and analytical ability is obviously not. This would be exactly opposite of what a credulous person will be. Generosity of heart wala element nahi hai. Having a weak and sickly physique nahi hai. Hence, answer is B. Having too much willingness to believe things without reasonable proof. There we go, and everybody has got it. I'm so happy you've all marked it correctly. Let's look at the next one. We are looking at the fifth question. Which of the following best describes what the authors feel about the story of how Chandragupta was inspired by Alexander? The question is, do the authors believe that Chandragupta was inspired by it? If I go to the part where the last paragraph, third line, which says whether or not the story about Alexander was true, hence they are not sure whether this particular story was true or not. And where do I get my answers? Answer here. Whether or not this story about Alexander was true, mentioned. And very good. Let's look at the sixth one now. This is a grammar question, and all the grammar questions of this particular sample paper are very easy. All you need to do is read carefully and you'll be able to make out. So the sentence one, enclosed within one in the passage above is grammatically incorrect. Which of the following would make it true? Now let's look at that particular sentence. It is here. They may even have a positive values. So यहाँ हो गया ना, is always used for a singular thing, so it cannot be values. तो ये part में error है. If they के साथ suggest आया है, जबकि it's a plural one, if it's a plural subject, then I use the verb without s, hence it should be suggest. So there is two errors. Now let's look at the question. Answer will be both A and B. Will replace values with value, hence it will sound they may even have a positive value if they suggest something. And again, everybody has got it correct. Very good. Now that was passage 1, easy, history, simple questions, direct questions, 6 on 6. Now if you look at this particular sample paper, there are only 5 passages with 6 questions each, unlike 6 passages with 5 questions each. जैसे कंसोर्शियम ने बोला था 30 to 32 क्वेश्चन, तो उसी हिसाब से उन्होंने 30 क्वेश्चन ही रखे हैं सैंपल पेपर में. Let's go on to the next one. We are talking about the passage 2. Passage 2 is again a very close to our heart kind of a passage, because it is something that is related to this particular country of Malay Bhanjo, basically, who ran a sweet shop. So let's look at the questions. Which among the following best explains why Malay like to laugh off any mention of religiosity? Was it because Malay was an atheist? No. He did believe in God. He believed in Shitla Mata. He believed in Kali Ma. He believed in Shani Dev. So ये तो होगा नहीं आपका answer. Malay thought the religious feelings or beliefs were for women and not manly things. इसका mention आया, but we'll still have to go through the other questions and the options. Sorry, other options. Malay thought that the best way to worship God was to ignore organized religion. Not so. Malay had been upset at the way things had gone and was upset with God. Not at all. He was scared that. He was scared of God. Answer is going to be B. From where I can infer this? Like to laugh off any mention of religiosity. He felt it wasn't masculine enough. So it wasn't manly enough. Let's go on to the next one. What does the word nondescript mean? I'm sorry. Malay shop Bhanjo Mishtano Bhanda was located in a nondescript lane in Hattibagan in Kolkata. This was his entire world. Now let's look at it. Sorry. Okay. So was it crowded and busy? Can I infer that? If I look at it, he is towards the end talking about not so busy right now, right? So this cannot be your answers. Narrow and winding, no. Wide and tree-lined, no. Answer is lacking distinctiveness. Nondescript, it's easy to remember if you talk about something that's difficult to describe. So what is something that is difficult to describe? जिसमें कोई भी एक distinguishing feature या quality नहीं है. Hence answer is going to be D. Let's look at the next one. Why did Malay sometimes have nightmares of Shani Thakur chasing him down the streets of Hattibagan? It's mentioned there because he failed to put money in the donation box. Again, a direct question. Let's look at where we can get that. At times when he forgot to slide a 10 rupee note into the donation box, he has nightmares of the blue-skinned god chasing him down the streets of Hattibagan. So our answer is going to be C. Very well done, everyone. Let's look at the next one now. Why did Malay think the virus that had descended on the country was connected to Ma Shitala? Now, again a direct question. Answer is without any doubt going to be A. It is not because of increasing popularity of Shani Thakur. No mention of shutdown. This again is not mentioned. From where I can infer this? It's here. Malay was worried and wondered whether prayers hadn't been offered to Ma Shitala in the villages. Shitala was the goddess known for her prowess in curing incurable diseases, especially smallpox. But since its eradication in India, her popularity had taken a beating. That means she was not prayed to as much. Hence answer is going to be A. Very well done, everyone. Let's come to the question number 5. The sentence enclosed within 1 in the passage above is grammatically incorrect. Which of the following would make it correct? So let's look at the sentence 1. Malay more than engrossed in these thoughts as he walking down. So यहाँ पर number 1, either there is a there you need either the supporting or the helping verb, or we need to put that particular sentence in the same tense. Hence it is going to take walked, and the answer will be B. Very well done. I'm very proud of you all. Let's look at the next one. How did Malay hope to learn the exact time when the maximum number of customers would come to his shop? Again, a direct question. You'll find the answer directly in the passage, and answer is D, by praying to Ma Kali. Where can I find it? Maybe if he closed his eyes and prayed to Ma Kali really hard, she might even tell him the exact time when the maximum number of customers would drop in. So again an easy one. Again 6 on 6 wala element hai. There was the only issue you could have had was with the vocab based question asking the meaning of nondescript. But अगर आप ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं passage में, तो it's not all that difficult to understand that the answer is going to be something that lacks interesting or distinguishing characteristic. Let's go on to the next one now. We have passage 3. A very interesting book. You should read it after the CLAT gets over, and it will be really an eye-opener for you. So this is basically, an excerpt from a book written by Mr. Chintan Chandrachud, and it is on the cases that India forgot. So let's look at the questions. Which of the following most accurately describes the Socialist Party as described by the author in the passage? Now the passage is basically, simple enough, easy to understand. And again, most of the questions are direct, but this particular one would require a little inference. This is more on the category of inferring a little bit, but common sense ke through this can be solved very easily and you'll get it correct. So let's look at it. It ran a printing press used to print. Now, we are talking about describing the Socialist Party. Not the person, but the party. So, answer is absolutely, you all have answered it for me. Answer is C. It generated a lot of publicity but had not won many elections. How so? An opposition party of much noise but little electoral success. Much noise matlab limelight में तो रहते थे, but not because they have won a lot. Hence, answer is going to be C. It generated a lot of publicity but had not won many elections. Let's look at the next one. Why did Keshav Singh's pamphlet not go down well with the Congress party MLAs? Yes, Utkarsh, it is given in the first paragraph. Absolutely. Okay, now if I look at it, Keshav Singh's pamphlet did not go down well. Now we need to यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा एक inference का काम होगा. Did not go down well का meaning क्या होगा? It's basically was not liked on those lines, right? With the Congress party. It had nothing to do with the printing and the kind of paper it was printed on, because it had been distributed locally in Gorakhpur, hardly makes any difference. That in itself is not the issue, because they thought it constituted a breach of privilege is mentioned, and D is again eliminated. So answer is obviously C, and everybody has got it. Very good. So from where I can understand this particular part, this pamphlet did not go down well with the Congress party MLAs or Pandey. They complained that the pamphlet constituted a breach of privilege, that is the rights and immunities enjoyed by the assembly and its members, directly there. Okay, what does the word consternation mean? Does it mean a feeling of boredom? Now, frankly speaking, if Sansani Khez sensational thing is being printed about you, obviously there's not going to be any feeling of boredom. Feeling of joy nahi hai. So what is left is a feeling of rage or feeling of dismay. Now the point is that a feeling of rage, in which context are you talking about? If you know that this is happening, then there would be feeling of rage. I tell you not to do it and still you do it, will be rage. But this was more at a dismay, as in, oh my God, what did they bring out? Wala part. Hence, it is going to be at something unexpected. Answer is going to be B. Era consternation. The speaker brought to the attention of the assembly a letter. Now, a letter was very unexpected thing that had come up. Pamphlet was another thing, but then you have a letter as well. So, letter was something that the speaker brought up, and it's quite obvious that the Congress MLAs had no idea about this. Hence, dismay at something unexpected. Keshav Singh had, according to the passage, written a letter to the speaker confirming that the statements in the pamphlets were accurate. Which of the following most accurately describes what these statements were? These statements were to the effect that the chief minister was sheltering Narsingh Narayan Pandey. No. There were statements to the effect that the speaker was not corrupt. Obviously not. ये पूरा का पूरा किस खेल में हुआ है? There were statements to the effect that Keshav Singh खुद के बारे में तो letter नहीं लिखने वाला है. Hence answer is going to be D. And from where can I get this? It's there right above, which is talking about this pamphlet alleged that Pandey or Narsingh Narayan Pandey was corrupt. And everybody has got it correct again. Very well done. Let's go to the next one. What reason did Keshav Singh give for not appearing before the assembly on 19th February 1964? Obviously not the auspicious date. This was true. It took several hours to travel, but was that the reason that Keshav Singh gave? No. He preferred not to accept? No. Answer is going to be A. That he did not have the money to travel to Lucknow. Very good. Vidhi, Somya, Cheshta, Riya, excellent. Keshav Singh failed to do so, citing a lack of funds to make the journey. Directly given again. Let's go to the next one. How did Keshav Singh answer the questions posed to him by the Speaker of the Assembly? This particular part, while I was reading, I couldn't help but chuckle at this. थोड़ी सी हंसी आ गई थी because of the way Keshav Singh answered. He yelled at the speaker. No, he did not. He did not answer the speaker's question. Yes. He told the speaker he could not hear the question. No. and none of the above भी नहीं है. Answer is B. From where I can infer this? Let's go to this part. When the Speaker of the Assembly repeatedly asked him to confirm his name, he refused to answer. He stood with his back to the Speaker and remained silent as the Speaker posed questions to him. So there we go, and then we come to the passage 4. Passage 4 is on emojis and how and why of emojis. Let's go to the next one. Why, according to the author, is the male bias embedded in language not simply a relic of more regressive times? Now, this particular question is the tricky one to solve because it means that there are two correct answers, that will be B and D. Right? Now, it was very simple to look at it when we are talking about most people use he, when referring people of either gender. So, it's not most people. This particular statement was with regards to the grammarians, not in general people, right? So, answer is going to be B. Now, let's look at from where I can do it this way. It is evidence does not point that way. That means it is not simply a relic of more regressive time, right? तो कहाँ से पता चला है? And yet until 2016 the world of emojis was curiously male. So frankly speaking, if I look at it, regressive times would be way, in the early 1900s or something of that kind. But ये कह रहा है it is not simply a relic. Relic मतलब अंश, something that is left over. So it is not a leftover of that particular era. It is something that is happening even currently. So how is that? It is because until 2016, the world of emojis was curiously male. And everybody has again answered correctly. Very well done. Okay, which of the following most accurately describes what the main activity of the Unicode Consortium is? It tries to create software standards that are used across the world. It's yes. It is creating the standards part. Make language gender neutral. No, it has got nothing to do with language. It has to do with emojis. It tries to encourage more women to enter the world of technology. No. It tries to improve the aesthetic design of software. No. Hence, answer is going to be A. And again, it finds a direct mention which says that Unicode Consortium work together to ensure universal international software standards. Again, a direct mention. Now, we are looking at the third one. Which of the following most accurately describes how different phone manufacturers or platforms may design emoji? Again, a direct mention. ये बहुत easily passage में ढूंढ के मिल गया है. It is going to be D. They accept the same design nahi hai, they do not design nahi hai, they must all design nahi hai. From where I can infer this, it is something that is given. Each phone manufacturer or platforms will then design their own interpretation of what a spy looks like, but they will use the same code. So basically the code will be the same, but they can give their own design with respect to how a spy can look. Hence answer is going to be D. Let's go to the next one. Which of the following most accurately describes the change Unicode brought about to the way in which they specified emoji in 2016? So 2016 तक सारे emojis मेल दिखते थे. अब 2016 के बाद मेल फीमेल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक आया है. and something that is directly given is with respect to people, hence answer is again going to be D. Right? From where I can infer this? They decided to explicitly gender all emojis that depicted people. Directly given. And then come to the fifth one, the sentence enclosed within one in the passage above is grammatically incorrect. Which of the following would remove the grammatical error in the sentence? So let's look at that part which says that it was the individual platforms that all interpreted these gender neutral terms as male. So you need to replace is with as. Hence answer is going to be A. And again, very well done everyone. And well, let's look at the last question of this particular passage. How do we read most things? As what has the author said in the passage. We read them as female unless they are specifically not at all. B, unless they are specifically marked as female, we read them as male. True. We read them as male regardless of how they may be marked. No. We read them as female. No. Answer is going to be B. It was called just a runner. Similarly, the original emoji for puller was described Yuna as a police officer, not. It was the individual platforms that all interpreted these gender neutral terms as male. So that was again a very easy one, and I'm sure everybody got all the answers correct. Now let's come to passage 5, and it is from an acclaimed author, an amazing author, that is Munshi Premchand. I'm sure many of you must have read this particular story of Munshi Premchand. So let's start off. Simple to read, easy to understand. So which of the following best describes what the author means when he says people found the front door closed and so began to look for openings and cracks? What is this talking about? It is talking about the salt water, right? A salt department. The salt department के context में बात हुई है. So the small and there was a prohibition on the manufacturing of it. So what people did was they did not use the front door. They started using, or they started looking for openings and cracks. So ये figuratively use हुआ है, right? So answer will be फ्रंट डोर जो खुल के कर सकते थे, अब आप क्रैक्स या ओपनिंग्स देख रहे हो, मतलब कहां से अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है वाला पार्ट है. Hence answer is going to be A. Since people were not able to do what they used to do by direct means, they tried to do it indirectly and by using unscrupulous means such as bribery. Not make sales themselves directly, they started going to shop. तो ये तो होगा नहीं. There's nothing in connotation of looking for openings and cracks. Land records updated, no. Would steal stole from them, no. Answer is A. Very easy to answer. Let's look at the next one. A general prohibition was imposed on the enjoyment of one of the nature's bounty. People found the front door closed and so began to look for opening and cracks. क्या था ये? Embezzlement, misappropriation of money and bribery prevailed everywhere. Let's go to the next one. Which among the following most accurately describes the condition of Munshi Bansidhar's family at the time the incidents described in the passage took place? They were well off and prosperous. No, he was ready to take up any kind of a job, right? So this cannot be my answer. They were in a precarious. Precarious is risky. Yes, this seems to, because they were debt ridden. They had a very large house to live in. They owned a large, not at all. From where I can infer this particular part, let's go to this. My son, you are aware of the wretched condition of our family. We have run heavily into debt. So obviously, they are in a financial crunch, right? Directly mentioned, and yes, everybody has got it correct. Very good. Let's go to the next one. What does the term embezzlement mean? And you of all the students should know the meaning of this, because this is something right up your alley. या आपके field का word है. So what does will it be using public funds for one's own ends, or surreptitiously, मतलब secretly listening on others' conversation तो होगा नहीं, overeating होता नहीं. So answer will be either A or D. Very good. D. Theft or misappropriation of funds kept in trust with one. And this word comes here. So we are looking at misappropriation of money and bribery. So obviously it is not going to have any positive connotation to it. Let's look at the next one. Why does Munshi Bansidhar's father tell him not to worry about his pay or position? Because he had read stories in Persian. Not at all. Why would his father be talking about this? No. Because he had had an education in English when was about to convert to Christianity. No. Because he felt that he would make far more money through bribes rather than his regular pay. Because they were a very respectable family and did not care for money. Not at all. Answer is going to be C. From where I can infer this, let's go to the part. Don't worry for a minute about your pay or position, which is like the tomb of a saint. But rather you should regard the offerings and the chadar. You should look for a job which has some perks attached to it. Monthly pay is like the full moon which appears for one day only and then gradually disappears. The perks, and we need to understand he has used the word perks in quotes. The perks are a running stream from which thirst is always quenched. Look for your opportunity and act warily. Fine, let's go ahead now. In the context of the passage, which of the following would best describe the author's tone as regards the statement, education in Persian served as a certificate of distinction? So education in Persian, it did not literally have a certificate, but it is talking about serving as a certificate of distinction. And people, after reading a few love stories, became qualified for the highest position. Now basically education in Persian रहता तो वो certificate की तरह करता, लेकिन people क्या और लोग क्या करते थे, थोड़े से कुछ love stories पढ़ ली रशियन में, they became qualified for the highest position in life. So it is definitely not sincere, it's not sad, it's not secretive, it is going to be B, sarcastic. Okay, 5.4. Yes, Utkarsh, what's the issue? Please ask quickly. Utkarsh, you there? Okay. Now, let me walk you through this particular exercise. Why did Munshi Bansidhar's father tell him not to worry about his pay or position? ठीक, अब क्या उन्होंने इसलिए बंसीधर के पिताजी ने उनको इसलिए बोला क्योंकि उन्होंने स्टोरीज पढ़ रखी थी पर्शियन में? आंसर विथ यस और नो प्लीज. Muskan, Utkarsh, please be prompt in replying. No, it is not. So can I eliminate this? Yes. Now, because he had an education in English and was about to convert to Christianity, would his father tell him not to worry about his pay because he was converting to Christianity? Yes or no? Utkarsh, Muskan? No, again eliminated then. Now comes D, because they were a very respectable family and did not care for money. Did they care for the money or not? Was money important to them or not? It was, right? So ये भी नहीं होगा. So what is left is C. ये C कहां से इन्फर किया? यहां से किया है. ये कह रहा है कि starting out by saying that the condition of the family is wretched, right? And they are into debt. अब क्या बोल रहा है? Don't worry about a minute about your pay or position, which is like the tomb of a saint. Tomb of a saint का मतलब क्या होता है? वो एक simply एक जगह है, right? But rather you should regard the offerings and the चादर. इसका मतलब है टूम कहां पर है? It doesn't matter. जो उस पर चढ़ावा होता है, चादर चढ़ाई जाती है, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. So he is advising him to look for a job which has some perks attached to it. Perks को कोट में डाला हुआ है. तो यहाँ पे कोई भी चीज जब कोट में डालता होता है उसके दो कॉनोटेशन रहते हैं. एक, वो उसको आयरॉनिकली या sarcastically यूज कर रहा है, या वो उसको इसके एग्जैक्ट अपोजिट यूज करने की बात कर रहा है. तो यहाँ पे इसको sarcastically यूज किया गया है. Okay, got it? Very good. 5.5 is clear, everyone. So let's come to the final question. 5.6. Which of the following best describes what Munshi Bansidhar's father tells him is the difference between monthly pay and the perks? Monthly pay only occurred at fixed long intervals, whereas perks could be available on a continuous basis. Seems so, but we'll have to eliminate other options. Remember not to mark your answers without reading all the options. सारे ऑप्शंस पढ़िए, उसके बाद आप मार्क करेंगे. There are no shortcuts and there is no laziness in this. Otherwise इतने easy questions students mark incorrect mark करके आते हैं. That's not a risk that I want you to take. So let's look at it. Monthly pay should be taken only in person. No. Monthly pay should be accepted only if it were given to one by the government. No. D says monthly pay was only paid directly into one's bank account. No, what is left is A. Right? Now, frankly, we all know, अगर देखते हैं टॉपिक्स देखते हैं काफी इजी थे, अलग अलग सोर्सेज हैं. We had one of history, one of fiction, literature, then we had one of technology or science and technology वाला element आ गया. So if I look at this particular thing, it's a very doable and very easily done. आप अगर 20 से लेके 23 अपने मॉडरेट टू डिफिकल्ट मॉक्स में ला सकते हैं, तो इसमें आई नो दैट माय स्टूडेंट्स एट विधिज्ञ, यू ऑल can score very easily somewhere around 25 to 26. You can do it. So there's nothing to worry about. Keep practicing and keep reading. That's what is required, and you'll be able to do it. I have full confidence in you all. Now, are there any doubts or are there any questions that you would like to ask me? Please do so. I'm waiting for you to respond, please. मुस्कान, उत्कर्ष, विधि, चेष्टा, रिया, पारुल, रक्षिता, अथर्व, are there any doubts, any questions that you would like to ask me? Otherwise, I'll wind up this particular session. No, why will it have short intervals? ये देखो ना यहाँ पे. Monthly pay is like the full moon which appears for one day only and then gradually disappears. So अगर full moon देखते हैं वो महीने में एक बार आता है, right? लेकिन जो आपके perks हैं वो रनिंग स्ट्रीम है. दैट्स लाइक जब भी चाहे वो मिल जाएंगे. चलो, इन दैट केस I wish you all a very logical noon again, and thank you so much, and I'm very proud of you, and I know you'll be able to do it on the CLAT, on the D-Day. Stay positive, keep practicing, and keep breathing properly. Thank you. Devesh, you can do anytime you want, but had you done it beforehand, पहले से किया होता तो आपको ज्यादा मजा आता. Knowing the answer and then solving it is no fun, right? So you need to solve and then sit down. So whenever you look